Subject this morning, why must truth be realized? No one in the world wants to be fooled, wants to be deluded. Unless you realize truth, you are living in delusion. That's the first reason why truth must be realized. But there are four main reasons why truth must be realized. First, we must understand the truth of fulfillment of desire, because it is desire which keeps us attached to this worldly existence, this life of births and deaths. Desire is the culprit. We must understand the truth about desire. That's the first and important thing. The second is we must understand what a true religion is. If we are following a religion which does not give us the truth, we are still being deluded. So we must understand the truth about true religion. The third important reason why we should realize truth is that we must know what true freedom is. Unless we know what true freedom is, we cannot fulfill the goal of life, being free, a free soul returning once more to cosmic consciousness, God the Father, from whence we came. And lastly, we must realize the truth, the greatest truth, that God is in us. Absolutely. We must know that, not in theory, but in realization. And so there you have four good reasons why we must realize truth. Let us take up first this question of desire. Desire, we are chained to this life by desire. We are chained here, literally bound here by desire. So we must know the truth about desire. What it is, how to handle it, that we be released from these chains which keep us attached to worldly and bodily consciousness. Now, there is no greater authority on what desire is than the Bhagavad Gita. And I want to read to you just a word or two which will help us to understand desire, and therefore be free from the life of births and deaths, over and over and over, no end to it. Why? Because we do not understand desire. So in the Bhagavad Gita, in the third discourse, the 37th line, we read about desire, and then perhaps we'll understand that every desire you have has to be fulfilled unless it is handled without attachment. That's the important thing. If you can have your desires without attachment, then you are not bound, the soul can be free. So in the third discourse, the 37th line, we read, Krishna says, it is desire, begotten of the quality of motion, Rajaguna, which means activity, restlessness. We're restless, moving around, agitation, all movement. It is that movement of whether it be the sense of sight or hearing or what it is, moving amongst this world existence, that creates the desire in us to have this, that, and the other thing. And as long as we have those desires, they must be fulfilled. So let us read. It is desire begotten of the quality of motion, all-consuming, all-polluting. Know thou this as our foe here on earth. As a flame is enveloped by smoke, as a mirror by dust, as an embryo is wrapped in the amnion, so this life, this creation of God, is enveloped by it, by desire. Enveloped is wisdom by this constant enemy of the wise in the form of desire, which is insatiable as a flame. The senses, the mind, and the reason are said to be its seat. Not the intuition of the soul, but the senses, mind, and reason is said to be its seat. By these enveloping wisdom, it bewilders the dweller in the body. So this desire This desire is the culprit which we must understand. And so, remember, it is the fulfillment of desire, not in the object of senses, that is the key. As long as you fulfill the desire in the object of senses, so you are bound. Bound. And the worst of it is the desires do not cease, they increase and become twofold. There's no end to it. So it is necessary that we understand this fulfillment of desire. Now, fulfillment of desire is simply this. It is satisfying the natural instincts of the heart. That's all. But you can see, by attachment to objects of senses, whether it be an automobile, a hat, or marriage, that's the difficulty. It is the attachment to those objects which causes the delusion and keeps us bound by more and more desires. There's no end to it. They keep multiplying. But the real desire, which has been transferred to the objects of senses, that is, things in outward life, the real desire is satisfied easily in the human heart by three things: existence, consciousness, and bliss. That's what it means in the scriptures when it says Satchit Ananda. Sat, existence, Chit, consciousness, Ananda, bliss. That's what we want. If you think it's in the automobile, it isn't there. It's right in your heart. But when you transfer it to the object of sense, that's when the delusion comes. That's when the desires increase. There's no end to them, and we have to come back to this life over and over again as long as we have those unfulfilled desires. And if they cannot be fulfilled in the object of senses, you can see that we're coming back and forth for a long time as long as we try to satisfy them in outward things. There is a way out, which I will come to in a minute. So this understanding of a fulfillment of desire is very important. Otherwise, what happens? Attachment. And that's the key. That's what ties us. Attachment, not the fulfillment of desire. The fulfillment of desire is in the human heart. Those three things. Now, if you have a nice automobile and it doesn't give you the realization that it is yours, and it is, you feel good when you have that automobile, you wouldn't want the automobile, would you? No. Same way with a wife, anything. Unless you have that bliss. Well, the bliss is in you. It's not in the wife or the automobile. Now, that's the thing I'm going to try to point out to you. And this is the key to the understanding of the fulfillment of desire. And if you will remember this, you will not be attached by desires. Now, if when you enjoy a thing, through the fulfillment of it, if when you enjoy a thing, you direct this organ of sense, whether it be sight, hearing, touch, taste, anything, toward the object of your desire, there is no end to it. It will not be fulfilled. And the worst of it is, those desires increase more and more and more and become even twofold. Just when you do that one thing, when you direct your organ of sense to the object of your desire and try to feel a satisfaction in that, there's no end to it. It increases, more desires come, twofold, as the Gita says. So that's the first thing to remember. Whenever you have a fulfillment of desire, do not direct it toward the object of that desire, otherwise you're bound by attachment. There's no end to it. There's no end to your desires. Now let us take the illustration of the automobile, the hat, and marriage. You have an automobile, it looks nice, and you direct your attention toward that through sight, touch, smell even, everything. You become one with that automobile, see? All right, after a while you want some other automobile. There's something yours doesn't have. So another automobile comes, and that goes on and on and on, and Mrs. So-and-so has a better automobile. I've got to have that. So that's how desire multiplies, and there's no end to it, because you are attached to the object of sense. Remember that. Take a hat. You ladies see a nice little hat? You get it on, my, it looks wonderful. Along comes Mrs. So and says, you don't look good in that hat. You should have a wide brim hat. Your face is wide. So you get the wide brim hat. You wear it, along comes somebody else, says, you don't look good in that at all. So it goes on and on and on. These are facts. I'm not just telling you this story. You check and see. Why? Because you're attached to the object, the hat. That's all. Now take marriage. This is a very important point. If you are attached to the object of that sensation, the physical form of your mate, you're attached to that, there's no end to it. After a while you will tire of it without question of a doubt if you're attached to the object, which is the physical part of your mate. What happens? Look in the papers, read them. Every day, getting tired of one another. Why? Because they're attached to the object of sense, the physicality of the mate. So that's the important point in understanding the fulfillment of desire. Now, what's the other side? If, at the time of enjoyment, you direct the sense inward, not to the object of sensation, but to your own human heart, God within you, it is quickly and easily satisfied. And there is no attachment, because then the heart is being satisfied. In the object of sense, it is not satisfied. And when the heart is satisfied, there's no attachment. Now take that automobile. When you buy that automobile, it looks nice to you. You reason, I should have an automobile. I need transportation to do this and do that. I want it, but, Father, directing your attention inward toward God in you, if you want me to have it, I want it. If you don't, it's all right. If you give it to me, I shall be pleased, because you are the giver of all gifts, automobiles or anything. And you feel him with you. In everything you do, in this case, buying that automobile, there is no attachment, and your soul is free. So that's an important point. Same with the hat, same thing. Doesn't make a difference whether it's a hat or what it is. Small or great, the law is the same. And in marriage, if you direct your attention inward, toward the heart, toward God in you, feeling, Father, thou hast given me this companion. Thou art in her, or in him. I thank thee. Then, instead of there being any attachment, the souls of both are free and are lifted up to God. So remember, that's the truth about the fulfillment of desire. If you understand it, it's very simple. From now on, you will not be attached, you will not be bound by desire, and your soul will be free from now on. Further desires, other desires which you have laid up, will have to be worked out. But they'll be handled in the same way, and they'll be stopped right there. And you will be free. So that's the first great thing to realize about the truth of the fulfillment of desires. Why? Because desires bind us to this transient existence, this life and death business. And that's what we've had enough of. We want to be free, free with our one eternal Father. Now going on to the next point, truth must be realized by following a true religion. Truth must be realized if we are to be truly religious. That's the important thing. We must be truly religious. True religion binds us or unites us. This is the important thing. Ordinary religion does not do this. True religion unites us and binds us to the one eternal Father who is in us and in each and every child of God. Now that's the important thing to remember. You must know the truth about religion. Now it says in St. John, the first chapter, the 12th verse. First chapter, 12th verse, we read this. But as many as received him, to them gave he the power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name. Now the truth of that statement is what? The truth is that we must receive or become one with God. Now any religion that does not give you that is not a true religion, is it? It cannot be. So, to follow a true religion, it must give you the realization of your oneness with God. And that's the important thing. So that leads us to the point there are two kinds of religion: outward, ritualistic religion, or true religion. Now, in the outward form of religion, of which you are familiar, you know it is a system of beliefs and creeds and certain services and exercises to point out and show you those beliefs and creeds. But that outward form of religion, dogmatic form of religion, be it any form, does not do one thing. It does not give you God contact, because your attention is riveted and stays in the ritualistic form, the outward form, the dogmatic form, and God doesn't come there. God is still inside, waiting to be realized, waiting to show you your oneness with Him. So the outward form of religion does not give us God contact. Now, true religion does. True religion gives us contact with God, realizing that we are one with Him, that it is He who is in us as the Christ consciousness, the Son, God the Father. So the true religion gives us something which the ordinary outward form of religion, dogmatic, ritualistic religion, does not give. It gives us God contact. And we should not follow any religion that does not give us the ways and the means to contact God and realize that we are His child truly, and that we are one with Him. So the truth about religion is that true religion gives you God contact, and you realize there's no separation between you and the infinite Father. You are one. So that's the truth about the second thing, that we must follow true religion. True religion gives us, as I have said, God contact. In following outward religion, we are following rituals and beliefs. But when we follow true religion, we're realizing oneness with God. We're tasting God. That point I must bring out because that's the master's. You take a piece of sugar, or sugar in any form. You can know all about it. Its form, its color, its crystalline form, lump sugar, powdered sugar, many things. Those things correspond to the outward form of religion. But when you take the sugar, taste it, eat it, become one with it, then you know sugar. So that can correspond to true religion. True religion, you become one with God by tasting Him, realizing Him. Now going on to our next point, of which truth must be realized, and it is that we must attain true freedom, so that the goal of life will be realized. What is that goal of life? That we can return home once more to cosmic consciousness, to God the Father. Now we must have true freedom to do that. We cannot do this unless we have true freedom, because if we have not true freedom, we are attached to this outward consciousness, this dream of life with its desires, as I have spoken of, which keep us attached to it. How can we be free to return home to God if we are one with this dream, which demands that we come over and over again to be born and go through it? We cannot be free until we attain true freedom. So the truth is this, that in order to fulfill the goal of life, we must be truly free to once more go back home to God from whence we have come. So that brings in the point of the two kinds of free will, ordinary free will and true free will. I have gone over this with you. I'll just review it just a moment. Ordinary free will means no free will at all. We are not doing the things that we want to do. We're doing the things which habit, convention, environment suggest to us through latent impulses. And we say, I am free doing what I want. You're not doing what you want. You're doing what those things tell you to do. Habit, latent impulses, and environment. The impulses from environment. You walk down the street and you're subject to those things. You say, today I'm going to do what I freely choose to do. You will not. You will be an automaton and you will do what habit, convention, and latent impulses laid up by previous experiences with the senses dictate to you. Now that's ordinary free will. You are not free at all. You are doing those things which keep you still bound to this existence, this life here, with its delusion, with its uncertainty. You are still in the wheel of birth and death. Now that's exercising ordinary free will, which isn't free will at all. It's automatism. You're acting from suggestions which you have forgotten, habits, latent impulses, and environmental impulses. Now what about true free will? True free will means that you are acting not from those three things, but you are acting by the guidance of the soul within you, which is God in you. You're not acting by habit, so the impulses of habit, latent impulses, environment, they beat against your consciousness without question of a doubt. But you have waked up, and now you're being guided by a higher consciousness, the soul consciousness, which is God within you. Now, when you are guided by soul consciousness, which is God within you, then you progress, then you do independent action, then you are exercising true freedom, then you can once more return home to God from whence you came. Because you can see, you break the attachment to this worldly consciousness, this body, and you are free to merge once more in God within us. So that's the third important truth that we must realize if we are, as I have said, to be once more with God the Father, our common Father. This gives true freedom when you follow true free will. Now the question has often come up, how about the guru? Some say, isn't it subjecting your will to follow another? Yes, it is. But the guru has exercised true freedom and knows God. And if you follow him, then you too will acquire what he has, true freedom, and then you can see the difference between ordinary true will, guidance by that, and guidance by God's will in you. That's why following a guru, because he has no personal motive except to take you to God. That's why that gives you true freedom, because then you can see the difference between acting automatically and acting independently from the soul within you, as you should do, being a child of God. So when you follow the guru, you're not being passive. No, you're being a child of God because he knows God. He has been all the way. Then you too can see, all the way you can see the difference between automatic action and acting truly, freely as a child of God. And so remember, when you act from the wisdom within you, of the soul, that's Christ's consciousness in you. And that is in each and every one of us, as Jesus said. So remember, acting from the soul gives you true freedom, and that wisdom of the soul which you use is God in you, as Christ's consciousness. So that takes us to the final point this morning, is to the realization that God is in us, in each and every one of us. What did Jesus say? The truth shall make you free. And that truth is that God is in each one of us. Each one of us is a child of God, not in theory, but can be tasted, just like you taste sugar, by following the right and true religion. Now we have in the Bible, in St. John, the 8th chapter, a part I'd like to just read to substantiate my point. The 8th chapter, 31st and 32nd verse. If ye continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Now, in these two verses is the key to the whole situation. If you continue in my word, in St. John, the first chapter, the first verse, we read, in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. Now, what is the Word? The Word is the holy vibration within us, the Holy Ghost. Now, if you continue in that truth shall make you free. Now, the holy vibration in that is Christ consciousness, because it says, in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. Jesus said, I and my Father are one. Jesus manifested Christ consciousness, Jesus the Christ. Jadava, the Krishna. Krishna means Christ consciousness. King Jadava of Hindu philosophy manifested the same Christ consciousness. And Jesus said, I and my Father are one. In the Gita we read, I am He, blissful spirit, I am He. They are one and the same thing. Now, in the Word is that Christ consciousness and also God the Father. So by following that, we are following the greatest truth, that God is in each one of us. And that's the truth. God is in us, each and every one of us. Now, finally, how to do this? By following a true religion, self-realization. Self-realization gives you the ways and the means to contact God within you as the Holy Ghost, the Word. And remember, the Word is the Christ consciousness, the Son, God the Father. He's in all of them. It's the one consciousness. Seems a little different in creation, but it is still God the Father in us. So that's the eternal truth. Now, self-realization, the mouthpiece of the channel God has sent, will give you the ways and the means to contact God and know Him within you, without question of a doubt. Let me give you one illustration. In the highest technique of meditation, of self-realization fellowship yoga, if you do it, you will absolutely contact the Holy Ghost within you. In other words, you will contact God within you, and you will know God is in you. You will contact the holy vibration with its aspects of the great light of God, and the great cosmic sound of His motion, and His great love in your heart. These are things that are possible. This is not imagination. So, if you follow a true religion as self-realization is, you will contact and know the greatest truth, that God is in each and every one of us as the holy vibration, Christ consciousness, the only begotten Son, yes, even God the Father, because Jesus said, I and my Father are one. And so I want to end with one verse from St. John, the 36th verse. If the Son therefore shall make you free. When you contact the holy vibration, remember Christ consciousness is in it. That's the Son, the only begotten consciousness of God. So it says, if the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed. So the truth is just that. God is in each and every one of us. And if we contact Him by following the true religion, we shall be truly free. Because as Jesus said, I say these things not of myself, but because God is in me. Jesus Christ, the Son of God. If you follow the Son, the Christ consciousness within, ye shall truly be free indeed. Let us meditate just a moment to fix this eternal truth, the greatest truth, that God is in us. Look at the Christ center. Put your will into it. And feel in your heart you cannot but feel the presence of God. Thou art in me, O Father.
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 From this moment on,
From this moment on,
no one
shall
take that realization
take that realization
away from me.
But
thou art in me.
Thou art in me.
Thou art in me.
Thou art in me.
Thou and I,
Never apart.
thou and I,
Thou
never apart.
never apart.
Om. Peace. Amen. Now let us rise and sing our closing song. Sing with joy in your hearts, for God is with us.